here from helenmartinonline.com. Hope you're having an awesome day today. If you are live with me today or even watching the replay, just say hi, tell me where you're from. I'd love to be able to say hello. So the topic of my video today is 4 things that you must live by. And why I want to bring this to your attention today is they are 4 things that I try to live my life by. And if you can adopt these 4 things, they can make a massive difference to your life. So if you're not familiar with me or haven't watched one of my videos before, predominantly I help home-based business owners take their business online. But any part of a successful business is your mindset, how you think, what you believe, what you do, actions you take or actions you don't take. So a lot of our success, not only in business but in life, is to do with our mindset. So I talk a lot about that as well. And this is something that I want to bring to your attention today. And occasionally you'll come across a book that's recommended to you that someone says, that book changed my life. Now, my sister did that to me with this particular book I'm about to talk to you about, and she had it had a real impact on her life with this book. So she said you should read it, and so I got the book and I read it. And seriously, if you can live your life by these 4 things, you will have a much greater life. Not only success in business, but just in life generally. So the book that I'm talking about is just a little book. It's called The 4 Agreements by Miguel Ruiz, I think you pronounce it. I'm not quite sure. It's not that big a book, and it's a really easy read. I would recommend that you get this book, and I'll tell you why. It just simply explains 4 agreements. So those 4 agreements, if you can adopt them and live by them, it'll make your life a lot easier. So number one is be impeccable with your word. So, try to avoid using words to speak against yourself or about others in life. So just speak with absolute integrity throughout your whole life. So the power of your words, they should always come from a place of love, a place of truth, a place of positivity. So try not to use your words to talk negatively about anybody or gossip about anybody. It just doesn't serve any good or any purpose or any positivity. So number 1 is be impeccable with your word, the words that you speak. Number 2 is don't take anything personally. Now this is actually quite difficult because we all naturally, somebody says something that may not be particularly positive, and it's hard to not take things personally. But if you can learn not to take things personally, you will have a far happier life. Basically, so what others do actually has nothing to do with you. So people might say things to you or act in a certain way towards you, but it's actually their reality, it's not yours. So if you can try to not take things personally, then you won't be the victim of basically needless suffering. Sometimes when we take things personally, it affects us and it gets us down or it makes us upset. So we needlessly suffer from what other people say. But just remember, nothing others do has got anything to do with you. That's their reality. The same with you. What you do is your choices. You choose to do things. Nobody else forces you to do anything in life. What you choose to do is completely up to you. So just reverse that and think about other people, what they say and what they do. It's their reality, not yours. So number 2 is don't take anything personally. Number 3, if you can adopt this number 3, just this one agreement alone with yourself can change your life. Don't make assumptions. How often do we do that? So you write a message, a text message, an email to somebody, you say something and they don't answer. And you assume that they've seen the message but they haven't answered you. Or you assume, they must be upset with me because they haven't answered. Or you just make assumptions about what other people are thinking when you've actually got no idea. So if you have no idea, the better way to deal with that scenario is just ask questions. Have the courage to ask questions, to try to understand things before you make an assumption. And the absolute key is communication. Communication can solve a lot of our problems, not only in business but our personal life. So communicate, ask really good quality questions, ask somebody what they're thinking rather than assume what they're thinking. When we assume, oh, they must be upset with me, they're not talking to me, oh, what are they going to think of me, oh, if I talk to them about this, then they're going to think this of me, and maybe that's not the right thing to do because they'll think that, or maybe they don't like me, or maybe they don't like what I'm going to do. Like we run around life making assumptions about what other people think. If you can stop making those assumptions and just ask better quality questions and increase your communication with people, what do you think about this? Or I was thinking about that, what do you think? Communication. Communication can change your entire life. So stop making assumptions and have better communication. So that was number 3. Number 4, the only thing you can ever do in life is do your best. So make that agreement with yourself in your life. Just always do your best. Now, depending what's happening in your life at certain times, your best will be different. So you might be tired, you might be sick, you might be overwhelmed, you might have heaps of things happening in your life at one particular time, but you're trying to achieve, this thing. Your best in trying to achieve this thing, it will be that best in that scenario. And other times you'll be on fire, you'll be feeling good, you'll be feeling healthy, you'll be feeling enthused, you'll be feeling energetic, and your best in that scenario is going to be awesome. So depending on what's going on in your life, your best will be very different depending on how you're feeling and what's going on. But if you always make an agreement with yourself, just do your best. That's all you can do. Just move through life just doing your best. Then you won't have self-judgment and you won't have any regrets. So if you can move through life not having any regrets, then that's an awesome thing. So the 4 agreements, if you can make these agreements with yourself in your life, they are: be impeccable with your word, only speak nice things, only come from a place of truth and love and positivity. Number 2, don't take anything personally. Remember, what other people choose to do and say is their reality, not yours. Number 3, don't make assumptions. Instead of making assumptions, ask better questions and increase your level of communication with people. And number 4, just always do your best. That's all you can ever ask of yourself. Just always do your best. Then you'll never be critical of yourself and you won't have any regrets. So where that comes from is, once again, this little book called The 4 Agreements. If you haven't read this book before, then I highly recommend you do. Because if you can live your life going through those 4 agreements with yourself, you will have a far more successful and happier life, not only in your business, but in your relationships, in your friendships, just life in general. So go and get the book. Until my next live, I'll see you then. Bye.